For Creamer Media's Policy, I'm Sashni Woodley. Researcher and analyst Professor Raymond Suttner joins me for Suttners View, a weekly commentary on South Africa's political scene. Welcome, Raymond.
Thank you.
There are various reports that seem to suggest that the turmoil in the police and prosecution systems have not abated. What are your views on this?
Well, it doesn't seem to be abating. You have signs last night of taking action, for example, the president appointing or giving the commissioner of police a sort of directive that she must indicate by the 28th whether she should be suspended, and there's going to be a commission, whether they should hold a commission of inquiry into her fitness for office. But you know, there's something unsatisfactory about this just in itself as one example. First of all, they've taken very long to do this. Secondly, the suggestion really is that the only person who needs to be reprimanded or dismissed over the Marikana massacre is the commissioner. What about all those who shot people who it is shown were actually without weapons or had laid down what weapons they had, and the other evidence about people being killed at the second site? So it's not, that in itself is also not satisfactory. But at the same time, we have a number of other things happening at the moment. For example, this General Boyson in KZN has been suspended again by the new head of the Hawks. Now, that head of the Hawks was found to have lied, just like Nomgcobo Jiba, the deputy director of the NPA, was also found to have lied by a court. Now, according to Sam Soul in the Mail and Guardian last week, this reinstitution of charges, of this resuspension of Boyson is connected to a whole lot of other things which have nothing to do with policing. For example, Boyson apparently is close to Bheki Cele, former commissioner of police, and it seems that through suspensions, resuspensions, dismissals, and whatever, charges, withdrawal of charges, all sorts of political things are being played out. Again, this is not politics about nationalization or social programs. It's about positioning people in patronage networks. So at the level of the police, you have a problem. You also have a problem at the level of the prosecutors. This man, Sean Abrams, was supposed to be a career prosecutor, and very many people were happy when he was appointed. However, one of the first things he did was to have the charges against Jiba withdrawn. Now, we don't know what the reasons were for withdrawal of the charges, even though the court said she had never applied her mind to the matter in the case of Boyson, and it was recommended she was charged with perjury and fraud, very serious charges. Instead of being suspended while she faced those charges, charges were withdrawn, and she was made a sort of super deputy prosecutor. Now, the Bar Council is still trying to have her removed from the role of advocates, so she may still be disbarred, and if that were to happen, she couldn't keep the position. So you have a whole lot of things happening which are don't give people a sense of confidence in the legal system. You also have the attacks on the judiciary. Earlier in the year, you had a smear campaign against the Chief Justice. It's very interesting. The Chief Justice, when he was appointed, a lot of people thought that he was going to just toe the line, whatever Zuma wanted, and he's come out to be very independent. Then there was he was allegedly going to be arrested for rape and for a hit-and-run accident, all sorts of things, all sorts of dirty tricks being played on the Chief Justice. So there are a lot of things happening. Now, Stephen Friedman in the Business Day today says, refers to a necklacing of a vigilante necklacing of alleged gangsters in the East Rand. And he says, for ordinary people, the courts are not important. Really, the law is failing them. Now, personally, I don't think that it is correct to counterpose the courts, the judges, to justice on the ground. Both must work, because justice in the courts sets a framework which is supposed to work for the police. So if the police were to fail in carrying out their duty, as they often do, if one has access to lawyers, one can actually take it to court and try and get them to do things. But I think there's a general problem in the country which I feel we really need to look into. Like in the Mido Masia murder case, these people didn't just shoot him, didn't just kill him. They took their time kicking him to death. Now, what is it in the sort of national psyche of South Africa as a traumatized society that we need to look into? All of these things playing themselves out, lots of acts of brutality by police and so forth. So I think there's a serious problem, and I think it's going to take a lot of actions in good faith, and I'm not sure that they have the will to do that.
And what do we do about this?
You see, as a citizen, I feel it's important that all of us understand the meaning of the law in 1993 and the meaning of the law now. Under apartheid, the law was a law which gave justification for oppression and inequality. It was imbued with those values. It also gave people indemnity for various acts of violence. Now we have a law which is a rights-bearing law. It is a law which is meant to defend the rights of all in South Africa. Now, in other words, it's a completely changed situation. Consequently, it's important for us to defend this legality, to ensure that people understand that police have a role to play which is ancillary to the defense of democracy in this country. And they say they want to get people to recite the African Union anthem or something like that every day in class. I think people need to learn about the Constitution and its meanings, so that it's not just specialist lawyers who know this, so that when young people grow up and some of them join the police, or even in their ordinary behavior, they understand that violence is unacceptable, that you can't hit any human being, whether as a policeman or as a husband or as a boyfriend or whatever. So these values, which are embraced in our Bill of Rights, actually need to be diffused in the consciousness of all of us.
Thank you, Raymond.
Thank you.
That was Professor Raymond Suttner speaking to Creamer Media's Polity about the continued turmoil in the police and prosecution systems.